Good morning, friends. And today is September 23rd, and you're watching This Day That Year. In this program, we are live right now across all social media platforms, and we will tell you about the incident which happened in history on this day. So let's proceed and find out what are the important incidents. Friends, the first on our list is related to Germany, and people who are history buffs, they would know that the Germany as a country did not exist about 200 years back, and Germany required a lot of unification because it had a lot of princely states and kings, etc. And for the first time, a visionary called Otto von Bismarck, he had the vision to unify Germany into one nation and make it very powerful. And Bismarck actually created history later, but today on September 23rd in the year 1862, he was appointed prime minister and the foreign minister of Persia by the King Wilhelm I. And that is where it all started, because Otto von Bismarck then later united Germany into one nation. But he became the prime minister today on September 23rd. All right, let's move to the next one. Well, we all are fan of movies which show the westerns, the cowboys and the gunslinging, and they will basically fight for anything, even a small piece of wood, and they start shooting and killing. That is what they show in the movies. Believe it or not, a part of it is also real, because all these movies were inspired by the real life cowboys, and one of them was very popular, known as Billy the Kid. There are several movies made on this character, and some says that he was never arrested, even though this whole record is disputed. So in 1875, on September 23, Billy the Kid carried out his first felony, where he actually was arrested and jailed for a small shoplifting type incident. And this is where it all started, and later he became the outlaw, became a cowboy, and he was very, very sharp with his gun, and people used to scared of him because he was very sharp and he was a sharpshooter. And he became the cowboy outlaw, and some says that he was never caught. So the whole Billy the Kid legend started on September 23 in the year 1875. Let's move to the next one. Well, we always associate Nazis with Germany, but did we know that there were Nazis in other countries also? And even till today, who knows, the Nazis are there in other parts of the world. Nevertheless, there was a Dutch Nazi party. Actually, Nazi stands for nationalist and socialist, whatever the full form in Deutsch language. But the Dutch Nazi party collaborated with Adolf Hitler, and their first meeting with their leader called Mossad happened on September 23rd in 1940. So unlike the common belief that Nazis were only German, but I think they were spread across in multiple countries, and that is what made them so powerful. All right, let's move to the next one. This is a very bad incident in our human history, where systematically a lot of Jews were killed. And killing humans or killing any life form in bulk requires a lot of technology. I mean, you can't kill people just by using knives and swords, because there is a limit to how many you can kill, and the person who's killing will actually get tired after few incidents, and then he will just give up. So committing a mass murder was perfected in the concentration camp in the Nazi Germany, and how to kill so many people painlessly without them knowing about it, and making sure that they are killed instantly, was done in one of the concentration camp on September 23rd in the year 1941, when the gas was used, And the Germans, Nazi Germans, let me clarify that the Nazi Germans found an effective way to commit mass murder today in the year 1941. Okay, so let's not spend too much time on this. Let's move to the next one. Well, we all know that Germany was hard pressed for resources because Germany is a country which is up north in Europe, and they don't have too much of petroleum, etc., which is required for their war effort. And they invaded the Europe, they acquired the Europe, but holding Europe was a big problem, and they needed a lot of resources specifically to support their army. And biggest crunch they were facing in providing fuel for running their machinery. And because of that, Hitler was forced to invade USSR because USSR had lot of oil reserves and oil reserves down south in their country, in spite of having a treaty, non-aggression treaty between Soviets and Germany. Before the war itself, they signed it, and it was a mutual treaty which Hitler had to violate and invade Soviets. And they were very successful because Soviets did not knew that Germans will attack because they had a treaty with them. Nevertheless, when the German army reached Stalingrad, that is when the offensive happened, and the Soviets basically consolidated their positions and for the first time pushed back the German army. So the counter-offensive started on September 23 in the year 1942. This is a very important day, friends, because if you follow Second World War and the outcome of that, today is a day when Soviets started retaliating, and from this day, German army on the Eastern Front kept losing the battle until 1945, when eventually the Germany was conquered by Soviets, especially the Eastern Germany. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Again, something about Cowboys and the Outlaws. Well, the Cowboys were very active after the Civil War, because when the war ended, a lot of these soldiers, and some of them were blacks. Actually, most of the Cowboys were black, because they did not know what to do after the war. They are free now, and they were looking for new professions. So most of the Cowboys were hired to protect the land of the whites. So the blacks were the Cowboys. Unlike the movies where we always see Clint Eastwood and the white guys and blondes as Cowboys. So, but that is the misnomer the movie creates. But one of the more famous Cowboys, they were in the 1920s. They were Cowboys, and they were looting trains and banks, and their name was Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. These were the names, and they were probably the last cowboy. And so there was they were being searched systematically by the police in the United States. So they fled to Bolivia, where they were eventually killed. There is a very popular movie with the same name, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. Amazing movie. Depicting the cast is Paul Newman, fabulous actor, and Robert Redford, again another fabulous actor. This movie was released on September 23, 1969, which actually tells you about the life and death of Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. So something for for movie buffs, especially the Western classics. This is one of them. Very popular movie. Let's move on to the next one. We all know Philippines is in the Asia Pac, South Asia basically, and most of the people will not know that during the colonization period, when the Europeans were colonizing different countries, like India was colonized by British, and a lot of other territories in Africa, and Germany was colonizing, France was colonizing. So why Spain should leave behind, So Philippines was a Spanish colony. And that is why most of the people, even though they call Philippine citizens as Filipino, but they speak Spanish. Spanish is their official language. And you can make out from the name of the leader, Ferdinand Marcos. which is a Spanish name. This person looks like a South Asian, but his name is Spanish. So, just for clarification, that Philippines is actually a Spanish speaking country. Their official language is also Spanish today. Now, this news is about the dictator of Philippines. His name was Ferdinand Marcos. And in the year 1972, he declared martial law, which continued for several decades. And he kept ruling with iron fist the country. Eventually, he was ousted, and democracy was, the Philippines was liberated and democracy was imposed. But all of that started the bad patch in the history of Philippines in the year 1972 on September 23. Okay, let's move to the next one. We all know that the presidential debates are very popular, especially in the US, and the fate of the presidential candidates are sealed based on the debate between these two candidates or multiple candidates. If there are more than two, then there are going to be multiple debates, and these are televised so that all the people, citizens of United States, can see these live debates and how they handle various situations that are the country is facing, or what are the requirements of the citizens, what is their plan. So it's basically debated very openly. But earlier, these debates used to be part of the rallies that the candidates conduct. But for the first time, it was televised in the year 1976 on September 23, when a debate between Gerald Ford and his challenger Jimmy Carter was televised for the very first time, so that more and more people can watch what is their thought process, what is the vision, and what is the mission of each candidate, and based on that they can cast their votes. So this is a very historic thing, because now it is very evident that every 4 years the presidential debates are televised, and then based on that the electoral basically decide whom to vote, which candidate to vote. All right, let's move to the next one. Well, September 23rd is a very important day for Indians. On this day in the year 2018, Modi Care was launched. Now, Modi Care is a free healthcare program, absolutely free, for all kinds of medicine and hospitalization and operations for 500 million Indians. So you can imagine 500 million Indians is a very large group of people in the world. So Modi Care became the world's largest healthcare program as soon as it was launched. And today, a lot of people have got benefited because of this Modi Care plan, because all you have to do is register yourself in Modi Care scheme, carry that card, go to the hospital and get treated. You will also get medicines. So this becomes the world's largest healthcare program. And I thought I will end today's this day that year with this, because this is so important. Healthcare should be made fundamental for all citizens of the world. We should not be charging any healthcare. That is my personal belief, and I thought I will end talk about this healthcare program, which is absolutely free. And maybe Modi Care should be extended to most of the Indians, so that the healthcare is taken care by the state itself. So we leave it to the government, and we leave it to the viewers, their comments, etc., to share their thoughts on this. Nevertheless, since we meet live every day at 10:30, if you have any suggestions and comment, I look forward to receiving. Or you can actually also give comments during the live stream when it is going live between 10:30 and 10:45 every day. So for today, I like to say goodbye. You please take care. I will catch you tomorrow, not tomorrow, next week, Monday. And you have a nice weekend.